When you looked at it from the outside, the academy at Ivy Ridge could have passed for a dream school, tucked along the St. Lawrence River in upstate New York. Its sprawling 237-acre campus boasted tennis courts, ski trails, and leafy dormitories. The brochures promised a chance for troubled kids to start over, to find discipline, focus, and redemption. But behind those locked doors, behind the glossy photographs and manicured lawns, something darker was happening. It was one of these schools where no phones are allowed. Ivy Ridge opened in 2001, operated under the umbrella of the Worldwide Association of Specialty Programs and Schools, WWASPS. This was a network of for-profit behavior modification facilities, infamous for reports of harsh discipline, isolation, and psychological abuse. The property had once been Mater Dei College, an empty shell of a campus later purchased by a family company owned by Robert Litchfield, one of WW's powerful founders. Within months, the former classrooms were filled up again, but not with college students. These were kids who had not yet graduated high school. They were often taken from their homes in the middle of the night by transport agents, sent away by desperate parents who were promised tough love and transformation. Students couldn't look out the windows until they reached upper level status, something that could take 8 months or longer. Even then, privileges were rationed, like rewards. A single walk outside each month, a phone call maybe once every few weeks. Letters home were censored. By 2005, the facility housed roughly 460 students. Conditions were crumbling, dorms were overcrowded, mattresses lined the hallways, and allegations of physical and psychological torment began to circulate. Whispers of beatings, forced restraints, and unauthorized medical treatments. Then came May 16, 2005, the day of the riot. That spring night, dozens of the students revolted. Chaos erupted. Law enforcement across St. Lawrence County arrived. Sheriff's deputies, state troopers, and even Border Patrol. The confrontation ended with mass arrests, expulsions, and a chilling window into what life inside Ivy Ridge had truly become. In the aftermath, investigations revealed Ivy Ridge had been issued unauthorized diplomas to hand out to the students. The New York State Attorney General hit them with a $250,000 fine and forced the school to refund tuition to some families. Later, the state's Department of Education officially determined the institution was not an accredited school at all. It was a behavior modification program posing as one. Enrollment plummeted. By 2009, Ivy Ridge closed its doors temporarily. However, in the end, it never reopened. Years later, the walls still stand, hollow and peeling, the basketball courts buried beneath weeds, the property over 200,000 square feet of decaying classrooms sits abandoned, listed for sale at under $1 million. But no one has purchased it. The story does not end there. In 2024, the Netflix docuseries, The Program, Cons, Cults, and Kidnapping reignited national outrage. Survivors of that school share testimonies of abuse, manipulation, and trauma stretching across WWASPS-run schools. Following the series, the St. Lawrence County's District Attorney Office launched a formal investigation into Ivy Ridge. Names resurfaced, Robert Litchfield, the founder of the network, Amy Ritchie, a former overseer, as well as staff members like George Tulip, all accused of enabling or directly committing acts of abuse. Yet, to date, no one has faced criminal charges related to the years of brutality at Ivy Ridge. For many survivors, the lifelong scars are their only proof. One described it as a prison that called itself a school. Another revealed that until the day they left, they never knew what time of year it was. They had never once seen the leaves change outside their dorm windows. The Academy at Ivy Ridge promised healing, but for hundreds of its students, it delivered trauma cloaked as discipline and silence disguised as care. Some staff members were even caught on surveillance footage, grabbing the students by the throat and swinging them. As of now, as investigators sift through the wreckage of records and lawsuits, one question lingers in the cold air of that New York campus. How many more secrets are still sealed behind those walls? At Strawberry Inc., we will continue discussing Ivy Ridge as the investigation makes progress. It is important to have surveillance footage in schools. I know certain schools do not have much, and several schools are banning phones from the classroom. Phones are important for students to have to film any staff member committing inappropriate acts. That includes sexual abuse, putting your hands on anyone inappropriately, hitting them in any way, spitting on them, cussing at them, cussing in front of them, making sexual comments, emotional manipulation, psychological manipulation. I witnessed that in a public school a number of years ago. It was called Phoenix Middle School. It was just like Ivy Ridge. At times, staff members could touch you inappropriately. They could make an uncomfortable sexual comment. I witnessed that in 2 different classes. Male teachers who love talking about sex and do it during work. As well, isolation even during lunchtime. However, that school, it looks like it has changed. I bet there are other schools, so many others, with sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, and torment by their staff members. I bet that just how police officers have been caught watching porn during their work shift. I bet school instructors and school staff members somewhere around the United States are doing it as well during work. Because of labor unions for federal or state employees like these staff members, they are getting away with their inappropriate and constant behaviors. Thank you for listening to Strawberry Inc. This is an important episode to share to your loved ones. Keep spreading the word, keep bringing awareness to this. Once I saw the Ivy Ridge documentary on Netflix that I recommend you to look up and watch as well. I knew I had to make an episode about this. Take care and have a good rest of your day.